Hey guys, Huzzy here bringing you another video. Now welcome back to another Challenger Spectate, and today we're watching another member of DWG, technically it's called DWG here, and this is Canyon, so this is the jungler. I don't believe we've done the jungler. We've done 3 episodes, or 2, yeah 3, so we haven't done jungle, which is this episode, and we haven't done support, so we will do the support episode as well. Also, just to add, because someone I've already seen, am I going to be doing any MSI content? The answer is most likely yes. I've been told to do this specific Cloud9 DWG game, and to me, there's no rush to do it. I can't do it live. I can't do it even a day or two after the kind of deal that we have as YouTubers with Riot. As long as we just do it within a, you know, not taking a whatnot window. We can't do it live and don't really sit on the same day or two after the game because Riot themselves probably wants those views. So I can probably do the Cloud9 DWG one any day now, so I'll do that. And then if there's any other games of MSI, throw them in the comments down below. Like I might do whenever the final is, because again, I haven't been following the tournament, so I've got no idea where we are in the tournament. Maybe I'll do the final or anything like that. So we are watching Nidalee today, by the way. So Nidalee jungle. So Nidalee is one of still most likely the best solo queue junglers really probably of all time since she's been a jungler. Remember, if you're not, well, if you're old in League, you will remember. If you're new, you will have no idea. Nidalee used to be a mid laner. Upon her kind of release, she was a mid laner, and it's kind of funny to see like how design changes. They got rid of Nidalee's mid lane centric playstyle because Riot and a lot of the player base hated the I'm going to spear you from a distance with one ability and, you know, half health you or 3/4 health you. But nowadays, that's every single ability practically in League, let alone a spear. You know, Xerath's Q or W in late game can practically do that nowadays. So Nidalee, weirdly, would probably be fine doing that in modern day League, but back then, it wasn't. And obviously, she got kind of changed to be a jungler, and that's practically where she's stayed since. So the team comps on both teams, so Ryze, Darius top lane. I'd probably give that advantage Darius in the long run, maybe until properly late game. Jungle, Rumble, Nidalee. Rumble in the jungle is growing in popularity. I most likely also will do a jungle episode of Rumble maybe this upcoming week myself, because yeah, he is becoming pick or ban, much like Diana has been also. And then Lucian mid versus Annie. I'd probably, again, that's pretty obvious. Lucian will have the early advantage of that, but then later the game goes, Annie will most likely one-shot. And then bot lane, Tristana, Nautilus versus Jinx, Lulu. Probably would give lane advantage to the Jinx Nautilus lane, but again, scaling, Tristana scales great, but I'd give the scaling advantage to the team that has the Lulu, as long as you can kind of keep people off the Lulu and whoever she's protecting the most, which in this game will probably be Jinx. But as for the clear, you know, well, there's the early game Lucian, by the way, has just straight up dove a Annie, avoided tower pressure and killed the Annie. But you can see there, Annie's used no sums, so that is obviously quite questionable. Nidalee first gank, though. Her team, ooh, misses the spear. Her team being pushed in quite heavily, puts the trap to get vision, getting auto. So again, really worth knowing, the autos are more important than people ever think, because autos apply red buff. Whoa, she is, oh my god! I thought the play was over. That's fantastic. Okay, maybe that wasn't the double kill, but it's worth. Like, is that worth or not? Yes. Your AD carry gets 1 kill, Nidalee gets 1. Your AD carry gets to survive and keep double buffs. I'd probably call that worth, and the enemy support is the one that got both kills, not the AD carry. Yeah, I'd probably call that worth. Like, yes, Nidalee could have kept the buffs for a little bit longer if she didn't die, but I say that's pretty good value. Now, worth knowing, perfect time that they were respawning. So remember, the clear time now, or sorry, the spawn time of creeps is 2 minutes 15 seconds. I would probably estimate this Canyon guy as timed that, because he literally did that play and walks to top lane perfectly for those spawning. Like, how more precise can you get? That was mental. And really good junglers, by the way. I don't know if they'll keep, like, actual timers, but they'll keep mental tracks of things like, oh, I killed those at, well, technically, he must have killed those at 2 minutes, whenever it would have been, 2 minutes 30, and then he got the respawn at 4 minutes 30, for example. They'll kind of keep track, and then, in theory, you don't really need to work out, then, any of the others if you're doing a full clear, because then everything then will just kind of follow suit. So if you killed that, say, at 4 minutes 30, well, they're going to respawn at 6 minutes 30. So you can kill those, and then you'll know that will spawn after. Then you'll know those will spawn after, and then you'll know those will spawn after. So as long as you keep your jungle clear consistent, you can continuously do this clear. And let's just say this whole clear takes a Nidalee a minute to do, maybe just a bit over. That will leave you with a 40-second, 50-second, minute gap to actually do ganks. So anyway, Nautilus kind of invading and finds the Nidalee, but luckily for the Nidalee, the blue team is around. Tristana will live though, because she'll just jump over with the reset. They should get the Nautilus, however. Jinx with the red buff is going to get that kill. So that was a bit unfortunate for the Nidalee, having a Nautilus, and then also, yes, a Tristana also. What was Nautilus doing, some people may ask? He was gathering intel, like he was denying and gathering. That he went over with, I guess, Hex Flash, and then he used, there was the boing boing, whatever it's called, but he was also putting control down. So that was just an invade of knowledge. But obviously Nidalee now knows the Gromp has spawned. Why? Remember, she did Wolves and ignored the Gromp, so that was naturally going to spawn next, with her jungle clear pattern being from top to bottom. And then straight onto the Scuttle Crab, which is always nice. So this is a very... This is how you jungle clear, is basically what I would say in modern day League. Is, you know, you could do it before, by the way, because, like, again, everything before was 2 minutes. So if you cleared the top camp and made your way down, you know it would spawn 2 minutes later. Meanwhile, enemy team going in. This Nautilus seems to be very active, I would say. You know, he seems to be quite on it. Nidalee going aggressive on the Naut, probably like, I'm annoyed at this guy, so I'm just going to straight up kill him. Tristana in the area, gets healed and smite by Nidalee, gets the health back. Rumble flashing, doesn't get it yet, but Tristana will follow, and Nidalee will go down. So they are quite hungry for that Nidalee, and they are continuing the fight. Tibbers with the smackdown will help get one kill. Tristana, though, pretty decent health, but Tibbers is helping, will go down, and that will be the end of that. So that was a... Lucian did die somewhere in all of that, by the way. No idea what killed him. Probably an Annie. Again, by this type of the game, Annie's level 6+. Lucian's power, let's just say, is going to start kind of toning down compared to an Annie. So, well, it's more that Lucian has to be careful. In the early game, he can bully an Annie for free. Lucian can bully most mages for free. But when they get their ultimates and their abilities of, I can one-shot now, you have to be more and more careful. So, top lane, Darius doesn't have Ghost. Nidalee going to go for it, though. Phase Rush, unfortunately, procs for Rise, which will probably give him his escape. Nidalee does land Spear, though, within the damage. Darius flashes to finish off the kill, which is nice. So they do get that kill. Nice gank by Nidalee. Rise did have flash, so if he had the reaction time of literally a cat, he probably could have flashed at the perfect time to escape that. But nonetheless, he will go down. And worth also noting, a lot of people, you know, Darius versus Rise type thing. What do you do as a Darius, or if you're against a range matchup? The old classic, man. He's doing it right here. Rejuve beads. These are the classic way of dealing with it. You go a Doran Shield, you get your Rejuve beads, and you get a lot of Rejuve per 5 passively. You just literally regen any poke that they do on you. That's how you deal with it. And a lot of the time, a Darius, no matter really what range champion it is, in a complete all-in, a Darius will usually win. Where people lose lane into range matchups is they get too low, then they engage. So, that, you know, it's just the thing to say. You've got to be careful. So once again, Nidalee's doing the clear that we've spoken about many a time. The same clear practically every time that she's done it. Rumble being maybe a little bit cocky there. Just thinking that he can be really up on the enemy team and will make his way out. By the way, Lucian did kill Annie still. So Annie just quite doesn't have the power to deal with the Lucian yet. Nidalee gets the jungler and also 2 assists for the team. This is a bit risky going for the invade now, though, for the farm. I wouldn't say that's the play. Doesn't land a spear, but does make Lucian use his E. That is a big deal, because that means now Lucian cannot use E to catch. And Nidalee is... Look at the confidence, man. I am going to take some camps here, because, you know, they could be chasing me, but I have the speed of clear. And there's Lucian. She knew he was still coming. I have the speed of clear just to steal stuff. This is confidence 101. It's also worth knowing the power of kill-stealing camps. Even if you leave something up or you don't. So a big thing with jungle stealing is, we know we've said in this game, and maybe this will help people realize like the power of it. This game, Nidalee's gone there to there to there to there. So naturally, it's been spawning, you know, in intervals 2 minutes 15, the first one spawns, and then let's say 10 to 15 seconds after each camp, the next one spawns. It's really clean. When you kill steal something, you completely muck up their timing. Like, their whole timing window of what they've been kind of setting up in the game is now gone, because they don't really now know when did you kill it. So the whole timing goes. Anyway, enemy team going pretty damn aggressive. Nidalee going to die, but Darius might get himself a double kill here, to be honest. So, again, it's the type of thing that Nidalee, she's had some unfortunate instances of dying. She's died 4 times this game, but a lot of it has been for the greater good. That Jinx has got, you know, a kill in both buffs and stayed alive. Darius now got himself a double kill. So this is the team element to sometimes weirdly dying in League. You know, not every death is bad. And that's where, again, I always try to stress, try not to be a KDA player. A KDA player will most likely lose more games for their team than someone who is like this Nidalee. Like, you need to be kind of smart about what is better for winning the game. And sometimes your death that will enable a double kill or a triple kill for your team, or getting a dragon. Like, if you trade, you're, I don't know, a mid laner, and you trade your life for the enemy junglers, that means your team still has smite and they can get the dragon or a baron or something. That a lot of the time is maybe worth. Like, you've always got to figure it out. A death isn't always bad. You know, you don't want to die for nothing, obviously, but if there's a strategical reason behind it, that it's okay to trade for a death, then it's not the worst thing in the world. So you can see Darius is spam pinging because he's being sneaky peeky and he is hiding behind the Ryze. Yes, Annie, by the way, has died again. So there is an argument maybe the Lucian is just a bit too far ahead. Ryze, by the way, he's ulted. No, he didn't. I don't know what we were hearing there. And he just goes down. So yeah, Ryze is in not a very good position right now. There's been a recent conversation about the champion, and you know, I'm not a big thing into overall champion win rates, as people know. There's really big other... It's not like they're bad, it's just there's better ways to determine if a champion is strong or weak a lot of the time. Because some of the strongest champions in the league have had terrible win rates. You know, the classic one I always say, Azir, when he got big nerfs, and people literally in Challenger and in high rating play were like, this champion is the most overpowered thing in the game, he had a 44% overall win rate. So it's why they're not perfect. But Ryze right now, he does have apparently a 43% overall win rate. Obviously, yes, that is on the weaker side. Meanwhile, Darius fighting the Ryze. The Ryze is going to go all in, which I think is smart. Oh, it bounces off the Nidalee. Oh. Maybe the Darius should have been a little bit more patient there, because Nidalee summoned Rift Herald to deal with the tower. But by the time Nidalee could have gotten through, and, you know, I think she might have been tanking tower hits potentially, you know, his Darius is already dead. Nidalee having the confidence just to walk up and take it. So the thing to say is this is after the jungle changes. So has the jungle changes changed much? So here's the thing. This Nidalee is still 2 levels ahead of this Rumble. But the Rumble is not useless. He's level 8. Before all these changes, he very well could have probably been level 7. But he's now level 8. It just keeps a little bit more relevancy to junglers that are having a bad game. And that's more the issue. What it doesn't do, and I think what some people were scared about, some people are like, oh, it punishes a jungler that's doing well. Like, you know, they should get ahead, right? They still get ahead. This Nidalee is still a level or 2 ahead. You're still gonna be rewarded by outplaying the enemy jungler and playing better. But it's just, we've all been in that situation in League, definitely this season, maybe last, that your jungler is literally useless. So Darius getting some regen, Nidalee on her way, big spear, gonna kill the Nautilus, he's gonna go down, glacial item, whatever the hell it's called. Ryze, look at that damage. So again, damage from Ryze, not too bad. Meanwhile, that's quite a bad death. Oh, no. I was about to say maybe a bad death because Rumble lived, who is the jungler. Nidalee died, who is the jungler. There is an Infernal Dragon up. So there is an argument that blue team could try to do this, but Rumble was obviously very low health. You can see, you know, because we're in a replay file, blue team is pinging Dragon, and there's the Rumble. So he's not gone back and he hasn't regened much, and red team can see this. So what that is bad now from the Rumble, because what should the red team do? Now they should force Dragon because they know their opposing jungler is basically dead, or he's about to go back and buy and regen. So I'm actually a bit surprised that Nidalee is not there. And you can see she has mistimed. No, she hasn't. She has not mistimed this camp. Someone is here stealing this camp. I don't know if they know. Someone actually was stealing that camp just then. And yes, Dragon was just taken. There he goes. That's the Rise. He was stealing the camp. Yeah, unfortunately, Dragon taken. The one thing that we have noted, meanwhile, Jinx goes down. Rise is probably dead. Ghosted Darius. I don't think he's going to get away from that. The Koreans have actually said, and I've mentioned this in a past video, how much EU West as a server values dragons. We value dragons incredibly heavily. A lot of our whole solo queue experience is let's fight for dragons. And they're not used to it. So when we're watching like a Korean player like this, I'm surprised he's not going for the dragon, but in his mind, it's not a priority. So that's where you sometimes see player difference or regional differences. If we were watching a US jungler, I would have been definitely really surprised that he wasn't going for that dragon, but maybe now because it's Korea and they've even said we just don't go for dragons that much, or we don't risk them, we don't fight for them as much as US players do, that's maybe why he just didn't go for the dragon. So worth knowing, the runes, we do go over them occasionally, is Electrocute, Electrocute, Sudden Impact, Eyeball Collection, and Ravenous Hunter with Sorcery Second Transcendence. Wouldn't expect that. Water Walking, that's a typical jungle. If you're going into the sorcery tree, Water Walking is really, really good. And it's attack speed, adaptive damage, and armor. So nothing crazy, I guess. Meanwhile, they're going to be a little bit careful. There is a big ambush happening. Rumble ulti comes through, but they will walk out of it with the Lulu speed up. And that will probably be the end of that, potentially. They've got to be careful because they are currently, red team is outnumbered here. There's 4 people around blue. Sorry, 4 blue members around mid. We're obviously Darius, and there you go. So that's what we spoke about earlier, is Darius will naturally win that matchup eventually. And maybe in really late game, maybe he won't. But yeah, an average or decent Darius should be beating a Rise with a few items at least. So Annie gets a nice Tibbers. They do kill the Tibbers, which is more important than people think. I think Annie will get a kill. Flashes for the Lucian. He will go down. Is trying to survive. Oh, she survives with the Zhonya's. Nautilus probably isn't going to let her live. Is she going to walk away? Lulu's shield will keep her alive. And there we go. Really crazy confidence. And that is officially an ace. Crazy confidence for this Nidalee to be like, I'm going to just flash in on 3 enemies, kill the Lucian, and maybe I'll live. And that's the point to say, is obviously Nidalee wanted to live in that situation. Guarantee if she died in that situation, she would have been okay about it. Because if she killed the Nidalee, it's a trade. And then that would have enabled to kill the Tristana and the Nautilus anyway. So you're coming out with a net 3 game, or you're dying for 3 kills. So that in the mind of a jungler that's like, I just want to win the game, is a complete net gain. So, yeah. They do find the Rise again. So he's actually now having a bit of a rough game. He's dead again. So he's playing, what I would say this Rise is doing, he's playing a bit like, you know, Larry. He's on his Larry. Here in Britain, that means he is on his own. He's very much on his own this game. And at this time, I think he needs to be way more careful and respect the Darius. Like, I don't think he's showing respect. And, you know, in that situation, was Darius dead in the 1v1? I don't actually think so. I think Darius probably would have killed the Rise again. And that's what you get for Merc Treads, Stridebreaker. You're a ranged opponent. Stridebreaker is so good, well, in general, but against ranged opponents, it kind of cripples them. You've got Ghost, you can catch up to them. That's why, you know, ranged opponents aren't that crazy. I think people, which is kind of good, I guess, people have finally come to the realization that Teemo isn't that strong. You just have to know how to play against it. Because, yeah, you used to see Teemos a lot. But you just don't anymore, and he used to be one of those champions people love to complain about. People don't really complain about Teemo anymore. That also might be because there are much bigger champions just to complain about in general. You know, Yone, the Ruin King. There's a lot of new champions that are just very strong, obviously, and Teemo isn't new, obviously. But, yeah, Dragon is spawning once again. Now, I would be now, even though we are watching a Korean pro player, I would be surprised if this player does not go for this dragon, because they have not gone for either of the first 2. If they lose this dragon, that is now 3 dragons for blue team. They'd only need then one more cheeky dragon, and they get the dragon soul. Nice take of the blue, doesn't let it get stolen. Where if you take this one now, then the enemy team will still need 2. 2 is a lot harder to get than 1. So I would expect a dragon fight. It would be very surprising if there isn't one. And here we go. So, crazy aggro Nautilus. He literally Hex flashes over the wall. Annie gets a good Tibbers. A little bit of damage, not enough though. Darius will go down, I think, to the Tristana E. So advantage right now for blue team. But they have used quite a lot. They've used sums. They've used ultis. And the dragon is being done. Rumble ultimate coming down. Can Nidalee get the dragon? That should be her focus. It is. Look, she's not focusing. Rumble's dead. That's the jungler. So it gives you a free smite steal. And now Nidalee on her own a little bit. I'm surprised that red team isn't covering this off. But Nidalee could make it out if she wants to. And she's not going to because she's going aggro. Nice flash by Jinx, but does get blown up by the Rise. Oh, bad maybe by Tristana. Look at the Rise damage, by the way. Really high. Late game hyper carry, obviously, that champion. One of the classic late game hyper carries, to be honest. Can she land a spear? No, she cannot. Needs to be careful of that Rise. And doesn't land a spear. So, I remember me playing Nidalee, by the way. And the comment section whenever you play Nidalee is, oh, how many spears do you miss? Watching one of the best players in the world hardly hitting a spear. Like, that's the thing with Nidalee. It's a lot of the time, and I know some people may say this is a weird mentality to have. It's not about the spears you hit on Nidalee because you're going to miss 90% of them. It's about the spears. It's not the spears you miss. It's the spears that you actually hit. It's like that's the mentality a Nidalee will have. Because you know, any person playing Nidalee knows you're going to miss 95% of your spears. That's just Nidalee. She is looking quite aggressive, though, with no vision over here. Rumble and Rise are in the area. Obviously, Rise is very low. Finds a Tristana. Ugh, is she going to jump? Oh, she flashes. What is this crazy aggro play? Jinx just misses. Nautilus ultimate coming down, though. Nidalee gets Lulu ulted. Nautilus now overextending. I'd say this Nautilus, he's had a bit of a mixed game. He's arguably throwing a little bit. Tibbers comes down, gets a bit of damage on the Rise. Nidalee needs to be careful. We'll use the speed up to walk away. And Rise will go down, but so does Annie. It's a trade. Rumble going aggressive against the Lulu. Darius obviously teleport. No, he went back. So Darius has not been involved at all. So advantage technically to blue team. Baron might be on the cards. Sometimes in the replay file, you can see if Baron's getting hit. Well, yeah, you can see that those effects. It's really weird. You actually can see those effects in League of Legends sometimes. Tristana going aggressive. Not too surprising. The heal, though, will get to the Darius. Now the enemy team mucking up because now you are just saying hello to Darius. And, oh, the Jinx! Sorry, the Jinx kills the Rumble randomly, and now that's turned into an ace. Oh, that was a turn. And that, I guess, also highlights the Darius and what Darius can do. Don't underestimate Darius, man. You know, in higher rating, I know a lot of people don't like Darius or they have problems with him. In higher rating, he isn't as, you know, strong because people know how to play against things, obviously. But he can still do that. And that was just the enemy team being way too aggro. And with that, that is a Baron. All because the enemy team wouldn't just accept, let's just do the Baron. We've got numbers advantage. We can just take it a bit easy, do the Baron, or let, you know, bait the Nidalee to come in, kill her, then do Baron. Nope, the enemy team had to go aggro all in to try and kill that Nidalee, and they get caught and die. So that's kind of crazy. Item build, by the way, for Nidalee, just, you know, we haven't really mentioned, did go Dark Seal and did upgrade that to Medjay in a game arguably when Nidalee was dying a fair amount in the early game. 4 deaths for a jungler in the early game, or 4 deaths really for anything in the early game, is a fair amount, especially in Challenger level. So to have the confidence of, now I'm still going to get a Medjay this game, that's a lot of confidence. But obviously, Night Harvester for her a Mythic. Again, Darius now, you can't really 1v1 him, and they're needing 4 people probably to take him out. Are they even going to get him, though? They're not. He's just going to ghost away. Remember, on a kill. Meanwhile, there you go. There's Lucian dying just to the Annie. As I mentioned, that the later the game goes, the more advantage that is to Annie. And they're looking aggressive in the jungle here. Nidalee will mention, Nidalee has a 3-level advantage over Rumble right now. Because just reminding how the jungle change works. It's the average XP in the game, not your opponent in jungle. So if the average XP in this game is, let's say, I'm looking around, probably level 13 or level 14 is the average XP in the game. The average, and he just goes down to a spear. Yeah, level 13 maybe is roughly, or level 14 is the average level in the game. That means Rumble, look at the damage from Nidalee! Just straight up one-shots basically the Triss with the minion damage. That means Rumble will not be getting jungle XP advantage. If it was just against the Nidalee that he's like 3 or 4 levels behind, he would be. But it's not to just the Nidalee, it's to the game. So if you're a jungler that's doing well and you're XP up on the game, which this Nidalee is, she's level 16, she's above an XP, and the Rumble is below an XP, you're still ahead as the jungler. So again, it's not the jungle change isn't taking that away from junglers. It's just to try and make someone that's really far behind in the jungle less useless. But there we go. That was an impressive performance on Nidalee. Worth also noting, she did do the most damage in the game, just doing more than the Jinx, which again is impressive when the Jinx went 12 kills. So the Nidalee did a little bit more. Involvement though, look at the involvement. The Rumble is involved in 10 kills this game as the jungler. The Nidalee was involved in 27 kills out of 36. That is what you call a dominant jungle performance. High involvement. You don't have to have every single kill, you have to have involvement, and that's what this Nidalee had. But that's going to be it. If you guys did enjoy, do throw a like on it. I hope everybody's doing well, staying safe and all that good stuff. But yeah, do me a favor, let me know what you think down below. Let me know if there's any obviously MSI games that you want me to watch, and yeah, we'll watch the support member from DWG next in the next few days. But like, comment, subscribe, see you guys next time. Peace.